This one for a little while. I'm a big fan of yours.
Okay.
I love you. And I'm also a Christian, going to heaven, believing in Jesus Christ alone for salvation.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I have also been listening to the Flat Earth stuff on YouTube a lot. Okay, and I've learned a lot about it. So with this question, I just need to give you some context. So this might be a little bit long, but hopefully
You're gonna preach a whole sermon here?
No. But I'm good. I got some flashcards here that I'm gonna just real quick go over as quick as I can. Okay. So the question basically is, what is the firmament? Okay.
Okay. Let me answer the question.
Oh well,
There's
it
more
needs
to it.
context. It needs context. Okay. Because I already kind of have this thing. Okay, so until recently, I thought it just meant the sky and the atmosphere we breathe every day. That's what I thought the firmament was just the sky and the atmosphere every day a long time ago. The Bible says that it separates the waters above from the waters below, and the birds fly in the firmament. So it just made sense that the clouds were the waters that were being separated from the waters below. The clouds above being separated from the water below. They were water vapor from liquid water below. Then, watching your seminars, I found out about the Kennedy theory, and that seemed like a pretty good explanation, and it's just not there anymore because of the flood. That's what you said, Canada fell, and that's where a lot of the water came from, that sort of thing. Okay? But then I found out that the Bible states 3 times in Genesis 1:14, 1:15, and 1:17, that God placed the sun, moon, and stars inside the firmament along with the birds that fly in the firmament.
Oh, no, right there you're adding something. Let's take this slice at a time before we get 20 topics going, okay? The Bible clearly says in the first chapter, God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Now, some people say, well, it must be the dirt, because the dirt divides the oceans. The continents separate the oceans. That's not true. You are correct. It says in verse 20, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl, obviously birds, that fly above the earth in the open firmament. I agree. The birds fly in the firmament, and in verse 14 and 16, let there be lights in the firmament to divide the day from the night, and God made 2 great lights and all the stars. Now here's the problem with the flat earthers on this one. There are 3 heavens mentioned in the Bible. Paul said in 2 Corinthians he was caught up to the 3rd heaven. Okay? And it says in Psalm 19, the heavens, plural, declare the glory of God. There are 3 heavens. It says in Genesis 1, God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And in Psalm 148, King David wrote about 1,000 years before Christ, which would be 1,400 years after the flood, praise him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that be, present tense, above the heavens. Here's the problem flat earthers are not getting. And I've talked to hundreds of them and studied this intently. I've taught earth science for 15 years. And I believe the Bible more than anybody you know. If it was true, I would preach it. Okay? I am not working for anybody telling me I got to teach anything else. But there is still, today, right now, water above the firmament, above the stars.
I agree with that.
Okay. I think everything we see in this monster universe is inside a glass ball on God's dresser that he picks up and takes once in a while. So, the Bible says the earth was...
That's exactly what I believe we live in, by the way.
Well, here's why. So, there is a layer of water beyond the stars, probably ice. There are many times...
I agree with that.
Okay, many times says God sits on a crystalline... the heaven, Judgment Day is going to be on a crystal sea.
That's... The firmament is the floor of heaven.
There were 2 crystalline firmaments. One to separate the air from stars. I mean, I just picked a number and guessed maybe 10 miles up. All of what's now our atmosphere, which stretches out, say, 50 miles. If you squeezed all that down to 10 miles and put a canopy of ice over the top of it, like the Bible, I think, teaches, the earth was standing out of the water and in the water. Here's where
it says the sun, moon, and stars are in the firmament.
Correct. That's the second firmament, outer space. They still are inside the water.
Now, the first and second firmament Okay, the first firmament is the canopy?
First firmament is where the birds fly. It had a canopy of ice above it. That's gone.
Right.
The second firmament is where the stars are. That one still has a canopy of ice above it. Okay? The Bible talks about the circle of the earth. Okay? Skip all this here. The Bible 17 times says God stretched out the heavens. He stretched out the heavens. He stretched them out. On and on and on. It covers this. So,
Do you know that now here's what I was going to say. The Bible also says that it compares the firmament, the heavens, to a tent. The interesting thing about it comparison to the tent is that a tent has a flat surface.
that would be a poor analogy, I think, to prove that the earth is flat, because tents are flat. I mean, you can build a round tent too, dome tents. So that wouldn't mean anything. The Bible says the earth has four corners too. Is it a tetrahedron? It's the only shape I know. It's got four corners. So, and the Bible says God gathers us under his wings. Is he a chicken? I mean, there's all kinds of, there are lots of metaphors in the Bible, okay? And I did a whole YouTube on that about 2 months ago on Kent Hovind Official on the flat earth topic.
Oh, I watched that one.
Yeah. Well, if it was true, I would preach it in a heartbeat, brother. I would. And I agree NASA lies through their teeth. I agree. They're looking for funding is all they're looking for, okay? But they're not lying about this one. They've known for centuries, before NASA ever existed, that the earth was a sphere. And there are just so many scientific arguments against the flat earth. The verses, I do appreciate very much the flat earthers' intent to defend what they think the Bible teaches. I have the same intention. If I think the Bible teaches something, I don't care who believes it, I'm going to teach it. I'm going to defend the book. So I very much appreciate their zeal. But I think it's Romans chapter 10, verse 1, a type of zeal. Paul said, he talked about the Jews, he said they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. I think you're fighting the wrong battle. There's pretty good evidence that some atheists and evolutionists started this whole flat earth revival in 2010 or so, just to see if Christians would fall for it, and to divide Christians into warring camps, and it is working well. There is a war going on. It's really just been in the last 10 years or so, that this has happened. And it's dividing the Christians. And it shouldn't. I'm open-minded. I listen to all the evidence. I'm willing to listen to more. But it's I think, a ginormous waste of time, energy, and money. And most of the world is laughing at the flat earthers for believing it. In spite of their intense zeal and incredible intelligence in some cases. There are some really smart fellows who believe this. But it's just not true. So what they're doing is they're confusing the sun, moon, and stars being in the firmament, like you said, where the birds fly. That's the problem. No, it's not. There were two firmaments. Firmament is the space where the birds fly. We'll call that the atmosphere, 10 miles. Then a crystalline canopy. Then who knows how many miles of stars. And then another crystalline canopy, called the firmament also. Okay?